Hello guys, Bruce from Jenner Custom Toys here. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a reusable molding compound for clear resin figures and whatever you might want to make out of clear resin. I did a video a week or two ago showing you how to make a pressure pot for clear resin, and a lot of people had requested I'd mention the molding compound that I use, and it's reusable. And I had quite a few people ask me to tell you how to make it. So today I'm going to tell you how to make it, a couple pros and cons about it. What I'm going to show you today can only be used with clear resin because the white resin heats up and actually um, it'll just get really messed up. It won't work on white resin. Period. Clear resin though, it's great. Now this piece here is a mold. I'm sure if you're watching this, you know what molds are. I made this molding compound about 2 years ago, and I'm still using it today. I pour a mold, make my figure. I can use it a couple times, and whenever it starts degrading and the figures don't come out so good, I can remelt it in the microwave, make a brand new mold. I I try to make all my figures out of fresh molds each time, which you can do. But I've had this batch for 2 years now. Today I'm finally going to retire this batch and make a new one. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Um, to make this, you're going to need, for one batch, you can double it depending on how much you need. 4 packs of this Knox unflavored original gelatin. Uh, 4 boxes. Now there's 4 envelopes in each box, which adds up to 1 ounce total. You're really going to use 4 ounces unflavored gelatin. You can try the cheaper stuff, like the Walmart brand or whatever. I haven't done that yet. I always just use the name brand. So I don't know how that's going to turn out. But if you want to go for it, hey, go for it. So this is about $6.96 for these 4 in my hand, and then this is called glycerine. You can pick it up at a drugstore. This came from Walmart in the pharmacy. Um, I wish I knew what it was used for, but it's pure vegetable based, if that matters. You need 2 bottles of that. They're 6 ounce bottles. So I'm going to put the recipe in the description of this video, so if I go too fast, I don't want to take all day doing this. So um, now, like I said, this is 2 years old. That's how long I've been using it, and I lost count how many figures I got out of this batch. And there's more to it. This is only part of it. That's why I like it. I mean, I invested $22.48 to make one batch, and I'm using it 2 years later for anything I want. If I just want to make one thing, boom, I can still reuse the mold. Normally, like for white resin, I'll use the Umu 30 or the Umu 25. That's what I started out with, and if you're doing this, that can run pretty expensive. But 22.48 2 years later, I'm still using it. Now this is really, you'll notice the difference in the stuff we're going to make today. Since this is 2 years old, it's got a lot of stuff in it. I don't know what to call it, but dust and dirt gets in it, obviously, and but it still works pretty good. It's real. What's firm? It's real firm compared to the one we're going to make today. You'll see when it's brand new, it's a lot less rubbery, or it's a lot more rubbery. Um, I don't know what I want to say. Softer, softer. It works great. It'll get in there and get your details and everything. So let's get started. Also, you're going to need some water, boiling water and cold water. We're going to go now. We're going to start on mixing it. I have all the ingredients already sitting in front of me, so you don't have to sit here and wait for me to open up the packages. I know I take too long to do everything anyway. So, shrink me down, and let's go. Okay, now we're ready to do this. What I have here is I have all my gelatin and glycerin in one bowl. Um, then you're going to add 1/2 cup of cold water. Now this is just a 1/2 cup of cold water. And you add that. And you just want to stir that around, try and get the water mixed in with the gelatin as best you can. It will be kind of like a clay consistency. And you'll see, this is why you want to get it circulated as much as possible in there. You don't have to worry about air bubbles at this point in time. Break up all these lumps. best you can. Some people get in there. You can get in there with your hands too if you want to. This is not a dirty job. This stuff's very clean. It's just, it's got the consistency of boogers though. So, and now you're gonna be thinking about that whenever you mix it and probably not want to make it. See, I'm just right now just breaking up some of those bubbles. And, I'm sorry, not the bubbles, the lumps. Squish them up real good. And then what I'm going to do with this today, I want that water to touch as much of that powder as possible because the glycerin actually doesn't absorb into it until we put our hot water in there. But for right now, I am going to leave this sit for about 5 minutes just so that water can soak into that powder better. So I will see you in 5 minutes. Okay, it's been 5 minutes, and if you can see on the camera, the water has been absorbed about as much as it can be into that fresh powder. But I did realize I made a mistake. I am not using a big enough container. I still have to add 1.5 cups of hot water to this. So, while I have it on camera, I'll show you what I'm doing. Get yourself a bigger cup. I recommend glass, by the way. Microwavable glass. This is Pyrex, actually. So, I'm just going to put this in a bigger container and try to get it all out of there because you want all the stuff you can get. And now I'm going to add 1.5 cups of boiling water, which I have right here. And I only have this 1/2 cup, so we'll do 3 of those. Oh, I'm making a mess. Do it over here so I don't get too much. It's a good thing about having a shop, I can just make a mess and it doesn't matter. 1/2 cup. And there's 1 cup. And there's another. I'm going to use that to rinse out that so I get all my ingredients. So we're just going to, you won't have to do this if you do it right. Just make sure you use the right size container. So there's the rest of my water. And we'll set that aside. Now you just stir the hot water into your gelatin. And you'll see it's very watery. That's normal. You can see the gelatin at the bottom is starting to surface. Just stir it, break up your lumps as best you can. Here's the big one right there. I just squish it to the side and then mix it back in. Let's hit your sides, make sure you get everything mixed in there you can. Now I'm starting to feel this is thickening up. I don't know if you can tell by looking at it. It is starting to thicken up. That's really all you're going to do is just sit here and stir this for a minute. Okay. Okay, I have skipped ahead 5 minutes while I sat here and stirred this. Seems to be coming out okay. That boiling water is what really melts your gelatin into what you're looking for. So still a few lumps in there. Now we're going to take care of those. There's nothing to worry about. You're going to have lumps when you're done with this. It's unavoidable. Every time I've made this, there's always been a few lumps. I'm going to show you how I handle that. I'll bring back this other one I have. This probably should be a bigger container, but this is making about 4 cups worth of molding compound. So whether it fits in here is going to be a challenge, but I'm going to run this through a strainer right here. We're going to use this strainer to a normal kitchen strainer. And if you're worried about ruining your utensils or your pans and stuff, this does not ruin anything. It's actually food grade at this moment until you start putting resin in it. I'm just going to put this on camera here. I'm just going to sift these lumps out and try not to overflow my container, which I'm famous for doing. Alright, we're going to be good. Now these lumps here, like I said, this here is normal. You can have that. It's normal to have this crap left over. Sometimes it doesn't all mix. So that we can just throw that away later. But this is your molding compound. And what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for takes about an hour, hour and a half. And then it's ready to use. My next video, I'm going to show you how to use it. I'm going to just give you a quick Cliff's Notes now if you want to get started and you know what you're doing. You're going to heat this up in the microwave until it becomes liquid again. About 2 minutes for a batch this size in the microwave after it's solidified. You got to let it turn to jelly in the fridge. You're going to stick it in the microwave for about 2 minutes. Pour it out and use it just like you would use normal molding compound. And, you know, this I actually use a red Solo cup when I make my molds. That's why it looks like this. But, you know, put your figure in there. I'll do another video on how to actually use it. I don't want this to take all day. Sure, you know, this is what you wanted. I got recipes down in the description. Any questions, feel free to ask me. Like I said, my next video, I'll actually pour something with this batch. And you can see, one thing I wanted to point out, look at the color difference. This is the fresh batch, of course, that we just made. This is 2 years old. This is not going to be as firm as the 2-year-old batch. You'll notice that first thing, but it'll still work great. Okay, hey, thanks, and any more requests, let me know. I'm going to cut this video, and when this sets up, I'll do part 2, and it'll be how to pour your mold, and we'll see what happens. Thanks, guys. One thing I wanted to say real quick is about cleanup. If you spill it on the table, you spill it on anything, don't worry about it. It'll come up real easy. Don't go wiping it while it's wet. Just let it solidify, and then it peels right off. It won't stick to your countertops. It won't stick to your pots and pans. It won't stick to the silverware you're using. You can use a good spatula to stir it if you want to. Just let it solidify, and it peels right off. You don't want to dump it down the sink, ever. It'll clog your pipes for sure. That's the one disclaimer about cleanup I wanted to tell you about. So, okay, I'm going for real now. Y'all enjoy. I'll see you next time.